Hi, it's me again. I'm here with you for another short 10 minutes sequence. This would primarily be a seated posture mini sequence. And I'm going to start off with a common posture which is known as the seated forward fold. So a lot of times by default, we've been told that seated forward fold is all about the hamstring. So if you were to see me now, if I were to keep my knees bent, this gives me space for my pelvis to tilt forward because right now I've created a slack for my hamstrings. So therefore my intention, because my knees are bent, my intention is not about stretching the hamstring, but giving space for my spine to lengthen. Now, assuming right now I have no mobility issue, I'm able to keep my legs straight, I can sit tall, I can fold. What if I take this position whereby the ball of my feet are pushing into my hands? Now instead of pulling myself down, I'm creating a lift. I'm using the contact points between my hands and the ball of my feet to create a lift. And of course, this will be a totally different experience should you decide to go with the norm. The elbows are flanking to the side, and then when my shoulders are rolled back, my shoulder blades will move towards the spine. When I pull, as in when I push my feet into my hands, this draws me forward. And I'm assuming you have enough mobility at the pelvis to tilt forward. Now, the question is, would this be the safest position to, again, stretch the hamstring? Now, moving on to the next pose. This is an interesting pose because it involves not just the hamstrings, but it involves a lot of mobility in the shoulder joint. So approach this pose with caution. So look at this from this perspective. When I reach my arm forward, you reveal to me the status of my hip. Am I able to lean forward without any strain? Okay, now if this is comfortable, I will proceed to the next layer. My palm is down, my thumb is down. Yeah, I repeat this movement and see if this intelligence can go all the way up to the upper arm, to the shoulder blade, whereby there's an inward rotation. Inward rotation. So I reach forward, drop the thumb, and see if I'm comfortable to wrap this around. Soften at the elbow, so this goes around. Now, when the other hand goes to the back, we sometimes make the mistake of sinking down, which can add quite a lot of strain on the lower back. So when my right knee pushes into the tricep, I use this again as a leverage to lift the chest. And I specify that you're lifting the chest rather than cranking at the neck. Lift the chest. So the right foot is pressing into the floor as if you're trying to stand. And likewise, the left leg is engaged, pressing against the floor. What if I do not have such mobility to come this far? Well, you can likewise benefit from a modified version. So again, I create this intention by reaching forward and checking the excess of my hip joint. How far can I go without any discomfort? And assuming that if I were to face my palm down, assuming that if I were to drop my thumb and try to reach back, and if the body says no, I'm going to back off. Then again, can I try another, probably a not so orthodox angle, but pretty safe. If I were to bracket my hand over the knee joint, not pressing, just a soft contact, can I use this connection to create stability so that my body can still shift subtly to face the front. So the foot, in this case my left foot, is pressing down strongly. There is active engagement between my knee and my tricep, and then this hand acts as a light tripod support. Again, I'm using this contact and leverage to lift the chest, release. Okay. Now from here, let's explore another common posture, what is known as the butterfly. Now, I would refrain from pulling my heel towards my groin. As you can see, it's quite a bit of a difference, regardless of my flexibility or my mobility. So if my pelvis do not have the intelligence of making that subtle tilt, it's almost like a forward tilt. And if I have a tendency to be always on the flat back status, as you can see right now, I'm exaggerating this quite a bit. And if I insist on pulling my heels inward and forward, and because there's not much movement going on at the pelvis, my knees are going to take the stress instead. So I think I would like to keep my knees safe. So from here, if I give space, so that there is some space between the knee joint. I sit tall. I encourage movement from the hip. So there's an intention to create a subtle anterior tilt. Okay. So if I were to place my hands here, I'm not trying to pull myself down. I'm trying right now to create resistance between my elbow, my arm, and the knee. So resistance, I mean the knees are trying to move up, but the elbows are pressing down. So there's not much of a big movement, but plenty of engagement. So hold this for a good 30 seconds. I'm just going to keep it short. Okay, what is the intention? The intention is to release the muscle so that the hips may so-called open up. And that's when you feel that there is excess, and you can decide what form, what manifestation of the pose you want to get in. Be it to fold forward a lot more, or bring your forehead to wherever contact point that you are comfortable doing. Okay. Now, one last pose again. Let's go back to that forward fold. Yeah. And at this time, let's keep the legs straight. Reach up. Okay, and fold. I'm going to change my angle because I think my legs have been chopped off. Somewhere here. So the movement doesn't come from the shoulder, but comes from the intention of the pelvis. And you notice that the moment the pelvis wants to tilt forward, the quadriceps, the muscles above the knees, will be engaged. How far can you go without any strain on the lower back? And as you inhale, when you lift, think of lifting the chest rather than cranking at the neck. Lift the chest, walk away, ease off from the pose. So once again, I hope you found something useful in this short practice. And thank you for dropping by. I will see you when I see you. Take care. Ciao.